Did you know that a simple encounter can change the trajectory of an entire life? At the beginning of the 20th century, a young man named Napoleon Hill had a conversation that transformed his existence, a conversation with tycoon Andrew Carnegie, who revealed to him a secret, the existence of a master key to success. We are in the first episode of our mini-series inspired by Napoleon Hill's revealing teachings about the skeleton key, and we will embark on the fascinating story of how he decided to dedicate his life to unlocking this secret and sharing it with the world. Imagine being able to unlock a hidden potential, a dormant force within you that can lead you to unimaginable feats. That's what the skeleton key promises, and throughout this series, we'll discover exactly how it works. But why is it so important to know this key? Because just as it transformed Napoleon Hill's life, it can transform his. If you are thirsty for change and want to discover the secrets kept by brilliant minds and unravel the mysteries that made Napoleon Hill one of the greatest thinkers of his time, let's learn how to apply these lessons in our own lives. Let's start. The Master Key. I am very happy to have this personal visit with you. Please sit down. Now I ask you to forget all your problems and relax as I bring you the Master Key with which you can open the door to any opportunity your mind can conceive. At the very beginning of our visit, I will make you a promise. If you decide definitively what you want most in your entire life and write it down on paper for me to read, I will give you the skeleton key with which you can open the door to the fulfillment of your desires, whatever they may be. Exactly when I will hand over this master key to you will depend entirely on when you are ready to receive it. This is the first of other messages I will give you. In each message, I will describe the master key in terms you will understand, if you are ready to understand. Now I will give you the first clue about the nature of the great skeleton key that has been responsible for all the great successes in all fields, in all parts of the world. Please listen carefully to what I have to say, because you may discover the secret of the master key on this first visit. You may get your first clue about the nature of the great skeleton key when I tell you that psychologists have discovered a natural law that underlies all personal success. And I can describe it in a short sentence, so that you can understand what the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. It's not a profound statement. You will notice that it does not mention the need for education, but simply says that what your mind can conceive and believe, your mind can achieve. If you want evidence that the mind can achieve what it can conceive without the benefit of formal education, remember that Thomas Edison conceived the idea of becoming an inventor and lived to become one of the greatest scientists in the field of invention, with just 3 months of basic education. When I heard Andrew Carnegie describe this natural law that makes it possible for you, me, and everyone to write their price on life and achieve it, I was so excited that I began to look for the power behind it. And my curiosity finally led me to discovery of the master key that I will reveal to you, if you are ready to receive. My search led me to the study of the spiritual forces with which we are all blessed, and it was in this field that I found a clue that has allowed me to help millions of people find their earthly destinies. I want to describe my discovery in the simplest terms possible because it will show you why it is true that what the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Regardless of how many times you may have failed in the past or how lofty or ambitious may be your goals, I got my first lesson, which provides the means by which we can choose our own purpose in life and achieve it. While I was being mentored by Andrew Carnegie during the organization of the philosophy of the science of success, I chose the wrong person to give the first practical philosophy of personal success due to my youth, lack of education, and lack of financial resources. At this point, Mr. Carnegie gave a talk that I will never forget because it changed my entire life and opened the way for me to help change the lives of millions of people, some of whom were not yet born. Let me draw your attention to a great power that is under your control, said Mr. Carnegie, a power that is greater than poverty, greater than lack of education, greater than all your fears and superstitions combined. It is the power to take possession of your own mind and direct it toward whatever ends you may desire. This profound power, continued Mr. Carnegie, is the gift of the Creator and must have been considered the greatest of all his gifts to men, because it is the only thing over which man has a complete and indisputable right of control and direction. When you speak of your poverty and lack of education, Mr. Carnegie explained, You are simply directing the power of your mind to attract these undesirable circumstances, because it is true that what your mind feeds, your mind attracts to you. Now you see why it's important to recognize that all success begins with a defined purpose, with a clear picture in your mind of exactly what you want in life. It's time for a special exchange. I dedicated hours and a lot of effort to create this video with you in mind. If you like it and think it's fair, like, subscribe, and share the video. Now, this small act shows that there are people who think outside the curve and who are interested in this type of content, encouraging me to bring more quality content for you. Furthermore, it perpetuates a positive current. Then Mr. Carnegie continued his speech with a description of a great universal truth that made such an impact on my mind that I began to give myself a new perspective on life and to define for myself goals far above my previous achievements, which shocked my friends and family when they found out. Everyone, said Mr. Carnegie, comes to Earth blessed with the privilege of controlling the power of the mind and directing it to whatever ends they choose. But, he continued, everyone brings with them at birth the equivalent of 2 sealed envelopes, one of which is clearly labeled the riches you may enjoy if you take possession of your own mind and direct it to the ends of your own choosing, and the other is labeled the penalties you must pay if you neglect to take possession of your mind and direct it there. Now let me reveal to you, said Mr. Carnegie, the contents of these 2 sealed envelopes. In the envelope labeled riches is this list of blessings, perfect health, peace of mind, a labor of love of your own choosing, freedom from fear and worry, a positive mental attitude and material riches. Here are some interesting facts about the mastermind that will give you an idea of how important it is and how necessary it is for you to embrace this principle and make use of it to achieve success in your chosen occupation. Firstly, it is the principle by which you can borrow and use other people's education, experience, and perhaps capital to execute your own plans in life. It is the principle by which you can accomplish more in a year than you could accomplish without it in a lifetime. I have heard Bible scholars say that the first known application of the mastermind was that between Jesus and his principles. Of one fact I am absolutely certain: when you form a true mastermind alliance with others and work with them in a spirit of perfect harmony, you can freely draw on the spiritual forces within you to bring your plans and desires to fruition. I also know that the mastermind principle can provide absolute protection against failure, as long as the purpose of using this principle is beneficial to everyone you influence. In my research to organize the science of success, I have had the collaboration of practically every outstanding successful man this country has produced in the last 50 years. And I can tell you definitely that their success is due primarily to the knowledge and application of the mind principle. Master, I would also like to draw your attention to the fact that our great American way of life and our incomparable system of free enterprise are built on the principle of the mastermind. The greatest document ever conceived by the mind of man is a perfect example of the mastermind principle in action. It is the Declaration of Independence. And the best evidence of the importance of maintaining perfect harmony in a masterminded alliance can be found in the fact that the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence knew full well that it could become a license of freedom for all mankind, or a death warrant that would see each of the signatories hanged. Now let's look at how the mastermind principle has brought success to people we all know. Consider when Kate Smith began her singing career. She had difficulty earning enough from her singing to pay her living expenses, and perhaps she would never have made her singing worthwhile if she had not discovered and applied the principle of the mastermind. This gave him access to the master key to success. When she formed a mastermind alliance with Ted Collins, according to a report, she earned over $30 million and is still in the higher income brackets. And I suspect she's not worried about money anymore. And you may be surprised when I tell you that Ford's great industrial empire began with the formation of a mastermind alliance between Harry Ford and his wife early in his career. Harry Ford was shy and lacked self-confidence. It was Mrs. Ford who inspired Harry with faith and courage to move forward with perfecting his horseless carriage, the car we know today. Although his relatives and neighbors generally tried to discourage him with what they called something silly and impossible. I will soon give more instructions on how to apply mastermind principles to increase your own income and promote yourself to a higher position with full cooperation from its administration. Yes, that's right. I'll show you how to set your own price, set your own salary, establish your own work hours, and give yourself financial independence. But for now, I want you to do 3 things. Before that, first, definitely decide where you want to be and what you want to be doing in the next 3 years. Second, decide how much money you want to earn and what you will do to earn it. And third, form a mastermind alliance with at least one person in your immediate family and at least one other person among those to whom you are selling your services. By taking these 3 steps, you will have advanced a lot in appropriating the great master key to success. There is no such thing as something for nothing. Everything, including your personal success, has a price that must be paid. And the only price he is asking for at the moment is the effort required to do 3 simple things that I now suggest. Before you begin to take the 3 steps I suggest, one important fact I want you to remember is this: control your mental attitude and become friendly and agreeable to everyone with whom you are closely associated. If you expect cooperation, I want to show you how to make use of it deliberately, with purpose and forethought, so that you can make the principle pay off greatly and quickly. Now, I must tell you some of the benefits you will enjoy by following the habit of going above and beyond what is expected. First, this habit will bring favorable attention from those who can. They will provide opportunities to promote yourself to a better circumstance. Second, it will put behind you the great natural law of increasing returns, whereby the service you provide will bring greater than average compensation. Third, following this habit will make you indispensable in your chosen occupation or vocation, putting you in a position to decide your own destiny. Fourth, this habit will help you stand out in your line of work because every time you provide a service, you will try to do a better job than you did previously. Fifth, if you work for pay, this habit will take precedence when work is scarce and others are laid off. Sixth, it will help you benefit from the law of contrast, as others around you will not be going the first mile, but rather the second. Seventh, following this habit of giving your best in all your endeavors and doing so with a pleasant mental attitude will improve your personality and make others like you. Eighth, it will also help you develop a sharper imagination, because you will be continually looking for new and better ways to provide useful service. Ninth, it will inspire you to act on your own initiative rather than waiting to be told, a habit that is the first step to leadership in all vocations. The habit of going further than expected develops greater self-confidence and gives more courage to move forward without fear of criticism. And here's something that, if it doesn't benefit you, would otherwise justify its adoption. It helps you master the destructive habit of procrastination, which tops the list of causes of failure. 12th, going above and beyond the call of duty makes people respect your integrity and inspires them to cooperate with you in a friendly spirit. 13th, habit helps you develop a defined purpose, the starting point for all personal success, and prevents you from going through life without knowing what you want or where you are going. 14th, and here is the great benefit this habit offers you. It provides the only excuse to ask for a promotion or a higher salary. Obviously, if you're only doing what you're paid to do, then you're getting paid what you're entitled to and have no excuse for asking for more. You understand this point and appreciate its significance, don't you? 15th, the habit of going beyond what is expected conditions your mind to maintain a mastermind alliance with others. I often hear people complain that they do not receive favorable opportunities in their relationships. I never hear this complaint from one of my students in the science of success, nor from anyone who has read a book I wrote. All of my students have learned the secret of how to create their own favorable opportunities. They do so by following the habit of going further than expected. I can frankly say, I have never received a great favorable opportunity in my life that did not come from having applied the principle of going beyond. Sometimes I hear people complaining that their positions don't allow them to go the extra mile, and my advice to these people is always the same. Change your position and market your services where it's worth going the extra mile. I am sincere in giving this advice because I know that no one can do better than earn a living unless they begin to walk the extra mile. During my career, I suppose I employed secretaries, all following the habit of walking the extra mile, but I never managed to keep them for more than a year because they promoted themselves to better jobs elsewhere, always with my blessing. The only exception is my current chief secretary, who has been with me for over 10 years. I married her to make sure I wouldn't lose her. Of course, there were other considerations as well. I know that the habit of walking beyond is a sound procedure because I checked this principle as well as all 16 other success principles to ensure that they were in harmony with natural laws. I can give a good example of how nature forces man to go further so that he can produce the food he needs. The farmer, for example, must follow the habit of clearing the land and planting the seed at the right time of year. All this he must do in advance. If he does his part of the work correctly, he then passes the work to nature, sits back and waits for her to do some of it. Soon, nature germinates the seed that the farmer planted, matures and again returns to him the seed he planted, but with an increase of 100 times that amount to compensate him for going the extra mile. Therefore, we see that the law of increasing returns comes to the aid of the man who goes the extra mile, and this principle applies in the same way when serving in a job. As a farmer, if the farmer did not follow the habit of walking beyond, the human race would starve to death in one season. We always leave tips and links that can help with your development in the video description. And don't forget to check it out. Now, don't lose focus. Watch another video to nourish your mind on one of these cards. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.